Thank y'all for coming. Uh, we're here to honor members of our Guardian Angels chapter. My name is Mark Lifeguard Peterson. I'm the second in command of the chapter. This is Ned Preacher Childers. He's the chapter commander, and I am now going to turn it over to him.
How's everybody doing this evening? We're glad that you are here with us for this great occasion as we celebrate and award some of the outstanding men and women of our community who do great work. A lot of people are still not aware of what the Guardian Angels, who we are and what we do. And I'm going to, at some point, we're going to call up our director, and we're going to use a lot of our code names tonight because on the certificates is what I used. I didn't use their real names. And we do that on the streets for our safety. We've had some incidents where, folk kind of didn't treat us right when they found out who we were using our real names. So on the street, we use code names and not our real names. But 13 is a director of the Guardian Angels from New York City. And he's going to come, and he's going to give us just a little history on the Guardian Angels. And then he'll come back later, and he's going to share on our honoree hiker. And like I say, we're using code names tonight. So 13. Let's give him a hand clap.
Can everyone hear me okay? Excellent. Oh, for the live feed. Got you. Technical difficulties here. Okay, so everyone, I am Arnaldo 13 Salinas. As a preacher said, I am an old guy in the Guardian Angels. I've been with Curtis for 47 years of my life. I was there on day one, February 13, 1979, when we started out 13 children who were idealistic. We weren't law enforcement, didn't want to be law enforcement. However, we did want a better tomorrow for people, and we banded together, and we went out on the trains in New York City, especially the number 4 train, which was the train nearest to our job. Every member of the original Guardian Angels, which was the Magnificent 13 Subway Patrol, worked at a McDonald's on East Fordham Road in New York. And again, this was something that was in our hearts. It was a calling. We had no idea as to what it would lead to. I mean, I don't know you Guardian Angels from Fort Pierce other than by phone conversations or through the words of others that are in Florida. Yet, we all stand for the same thing. We all strive to bring better tomorrows to everyone. And that's what we originally started to do, which was go out there and help those who can't help themselves. 13 kids. The meaning behind 13, we actually wanted to name ourselves the Magnificent 7. Just like the cowboy movie, the good guys come in and they save the town from the vandals and the villains and the marauders. And everyone whom we proposed the idea to said we were a hamburger short of a Happy Meal. Really, they told us we were about as sharp as a pound of wet leather. It says, you're kids, and you should be part of the problem. But we said, no, we can make a difference. Obviously, even we thought we were going to meet with doom. thus 13, an unlucky number. So we named ourselves the Magnificent 13. It's sort of apropos that I'm at a church saying this because Jesus Christ had 12 apostles that made him 13. The United States started with 13 colonies. This power behind the movement of the guardian angels from day one. Because simply, I was asked today, how do you guys fare with all this crime that's out there? I simply answered, it's a calling. I've been stabbed with an ice pick. I've been in the hospital more times than I can mention. Broken bones, always in the defense of someone else. But I'm here today. God is good. The Guardian Angels is not a religious or political organization. However, you can't separate the fact that we do good for others from a sort of religious motif. And it's what we do. And we started with 13 kids. Children. I was 16 at the time. I'm 61 now. Do the math. Every single day of my life. And not just us, not just me, but 5,000 members around the world, 138 chapters, 14 countries. Who would have thought? People inherently want to do good, but they need a vehicle. And the Guardian Angels is merely that vehicle. One vehicle. There's many, many, many vehicles out there. This one seems to be the one that you guys have jumped on board, that you're interested in, that works for you. But there's many, many, many out there. And I suggest to each and every person here to make a difference in your community. You don't have to go out and wear a red beret and a target on your chest and back. But there's many ways to get the job done. You know, parents, take care of your kids. Listen to your kids, but you're the parent, not the best friend. My opinion. I've seen so many horror stories. I've heard even more. And I know for a fact, as a member from day one, that we make a difference. We're out here because we care. No one's getting rich. I'm surely not. Curtis isn't. Curtis has been shot 5 times, hollow point bullets. He's alive because the Lord says he doesn't want him up there just now. Okay. Many of us have been seriously hurt, myself stabbed. But we're here. It didn't deter us. It invigorated us to keep going and to reach out, and that's what everyone here must do. I flew here not directly from New York. I had other business in Utah. I was in Los Angeles a couple of days ago, and now I'm here. And of all the duties that I have as a senior director of the Guardian Angels and a founding member, this is what I enjoy most. Looking in your eyes. Sooner or later, I will have to pass the baton. Somebody will have to step up and keep this going. Because this isn't an organization, this is a movement. I remember my grandparents telling me, hey, if you see somebody going into Joe's car or Joe's business, you'd better say something or else you're going to have to deal with me. Today it's the total opposite. Mind your business. Zipper on your mouth. Shades on your eyes. Cotton balls in your ears. You worry only about you. Well, we have to get back to those times. And that's not a political statement. That's just a statement of how are we going to survive. When I was a child, 6, And as a Puerto Rican kid in the Bronx, hey, we played stickball. It was just the thing to do. I remember back then, tall Irish cop came up to me, took my stickball and threw it down the gutter, and I went to my mom, and I'm really PO'd. And I tell my mom, this cop, blah, 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 blah. She smacked me and said, where were you playing? I said, well, in the street. Where else do we play? Well, do you know that that police officer probably just saved your life because you know how the cars come through here speeding? And she taught me to have respect for law enforcement, for teachers, for anyone older than me. I didn't see it at that time, but that's what she did. And my father was the enforcer. So I broke the rules. My mom handled me. Then my dad handled me, made me the man I am today. Today, there really is very little to no respect for police officers, and I commend you, gentlemen, for what you do. I applaud you for your service. I thank you. The United States Department of Justice did a study on the guardian angels, and anyone can look it up. They have concluded, after 4 years of using our tax dollars for a study, what I could have told them in 10 seconds, 60+% of all exiting guardian angels go into law enforcement, military, and social work. I could have told them. My Rolodex, yes, I'm dating myself a Rolodex, is filled with former guardian angels who are now FBI, DEA, ATF, you name it. Give me 3 letters. You know, Philadelphia Police Department, Washington, D.C. Police Department. Forget about NYPD. This is something that we have within us, angels. Something that is so precious because we go out and we risk our lives to help others. That is to me to be commended. It's difficult. I mean, I have 4 children, 2 daughters, 2 sons. There were many times, my wife is here, many times that I didn't know whether I was coming home during the riots in New York. Okay. I didn't know whether I was coming home, but I went. And I didn't think of it until afterwards, the danger I've put myself in. However, you have to give up something to get something. And thank the Lord, all my kids are good, upstanding citizens with good jobs, and I'm grateful that they have a future in front of them. Not because of me, mainly because of their mother, but I was somewhat of an example. You know, here I am in college, working full-time, father of 4, but I still went out to help those who could not help themselves. And I'm still here today, and I will retire 2 days after I die. This is my calling. It's my mission. It's what I choose to do because others run away from it while we run towards it. So I congratulate all of the guardian angels from Fort Pierce. I congratulate especially preacher and lifeguard, because without a leader, we're not going anyplace. Okay? We would be in a state of disorganization. So it's incumbent upon us to try and grow this family bigger for the sake of the citizens of Fort Pierce. Thank you.
Yeah, we want to thank 13 for sharing, but not only sharing, but for traveling all the way from New York City to be with us on today. And amen, amen. We we had some other folk that wanted to be here, but for some unknown reason, they're not here. And felt a little down, but 13 encouraged me. He said, "Don't worry about it. Look up, keep going. It's going to be okay." And all of us need to be encouraged. We all need encouragements in our life because, listen, sometimes what you're going through, others have already gone through it, and they can help you get through what you're going through. Right now, we want to move forward, and I want to have my wife to help me with this, with the certificates, if you could bring them. And my wife is also a diehard guardian angel. Her code name is Lady C.
Lady C.
All right. If you got an obedient wife or husband, thank God for it. Yeah. My wife, she don't get out on patrol as much as I do, but she support the guardian angels wholeheartedly. And when you don't see her, you may not see her doing anything, but what she does, it's behind the scene. All of these certificates, she made them. Every single one, she made sure that the wording was correct and made sure everything was spaced out and even. And I want to thank her for doing that. Amen. We're going to hand out these certificates, and the last certificate we're going to hand out will be our honoree, and that's a hiker for tonight. And at that point, we will bring Hiker up. We will give him his reward and his medallion, and we will call others to speak on behalf of Hiker and what he has been doing in our missing persons unit of the Fort Pierce Treasure Coast Guardian Angels. So the first award that I want to hand out is that of our brother 13, who traveled all the way from New York City to be with us. And it says, Guardian Angels, Fort Pierce Guardian Angels, Certificate of Appreciation for Stellar Leadership. Give him a hand clap of praise. And my second in command, lifeguard. He's one of those guys who, when you call him, he's going to answer that phone, and he's going to want to do whatever he can. One thing I try to tell the angels is that, you know, if you see it's me calling, I want you to answer because you don't know what's going on, and I want help when I need help. But this is one guy who I am glad to be my right hand, because he is a die-hard guardian angel. He has been, and he has shown me that this is what he's supposed to be doing. He sleep, eat guardian angels. I tell you, this guy is one of those you want to have by your side, not because of his size, but because of what he knows. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
And his certificate reads, certificate of appreciation for outstanding performance. All right, Doc. And this particular person got her name from where she's from, Bronx. She's from Bronx, and she decided to use her code name as Bronx. And her certificate reads, appreciation for the outstanding performance. Bronx, I want to thank you because Bronx take care of her mother. Her mother is living with her. She didn't always live with her, but since her mother came and moved with her, she didn't think she was going to be able to get out on patrols, but she has not missed a beat. She loved the Guardian Angels. She loved her community, and she want to make a difference in her community. So, Bronx, tonight, we want to thank you for your hard work and participation in being a Fort Pierce Treasure Coast Guardian Angels. This is somewhat kind of new kid on the block. Law enforcement gave her her code name. And her code name is Situation. I don't know how that came about, but it fits her. It fits her because I don't care what the situation is, she's ready. She's ready to go and do whatever is needed, whatever the situation is. So, Situation, tonight, we want to thank you for your outstanding performance as a Fort Pierce Treasure Coast Guardian Angel. Thank you. And I didn't find out till the last minute that this person was going to be here. So I called my wife up and I say, we got to get a certificate for her because, you know, even though she's not active, if she could be, she'll be right in it with us. She's here tonight, and I'm glad she's here. Her health is not the best, but she's here tonight, and that's Chase. Chase is a well-known person in the community. She was a civilian with the Port St. Lucie Police Department, and she used to cruise by my house sometime and check on the old boy, you know. And I just thank God for her because we were having a meeting one time, and they asked the Guardian Angels to come and speak. And I was telling everybody about how we got our code names. And I told them that she got her code name because when she was in her younger days, you did something and ran, she chased you down. Chase, thank you for your outstanding performance as a Guardian Angel. All right. Get yours. All right, we got a few more before we get to our honoree. This is for my soulmate, who, I don't know why she stuck it over there. But her code name is Lady C, and that is because her last name is Childress. And she loves the Guardian Angels. She really do. And I don't care what I have to do. If I got to go and stay 2 or 3 days somewhere to be with the Guardian Angels, she supports me. She supports me. Whatever I do with this organization, she supports it because she knows that I want to make a difference in our community. You know, so I want to say to her that I know, honey, that you can't be out on the streets with us patrolling and trying to make a difference that way, but whatever I need for as what a person that is called an administrator, a secretary, I come to you and you get the job done. So we want to thank you for being my personal secretary and doing an outstanding work with the Fort Pierce Treasure Coast Guardian Angels. All right, we're down to that last person who we're all here tonight to honor for doing such an outstanding job and on our missing persons unit, a unit that has recently been formed. And we used to go out all the time and look for missing persons as a whole group. And we did it in several different counties. It wasn't just St. Lucie County. We were in Broward County. We was in Palm Beach County. We just went everywhere whenever a person was missing, and we got the word. Those of us that could go, we loaded up and we went looking for that person. But Hiker took it an extra mile, and he's very good at what he do, y'all. He have found at least, I mean, not just was there during the time that the person was missing, he actually located the person and brought them home. And we want to honor him tonight because he doesn't stop. You know, recently there was a missing kid in Fort Pierce, a young boy, and he was out with a few of the members of the team, and they were looking for this young boy, and their parents were frantic and all, and it got late in the night. They called off the search. Everybody went home, except Hiker. He stayed out there looking for this young kid. And about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, Hiker located this young boy. And he did what we're supposed to do. We called law enforcement, and they came out, and they took this young kid home where he's supposed to be with his parents. But that's not the only one that he did like that. He done several. And I can't be more proud of him on tonight as we honor him for being the head person, first lieutenant of the Guardian Angels and the head person of our missing person unit. We thank him for what he do and for those that helps him out whenever there's a missing person. We make sure that law enforcement know that we're on the grounds looking for the individual. And if we spot that individual, we call law enforcement and let them handle it from there. We are not sworn officers. We are just somebody who's trying to make a difference. That's all we are. We got folk like us. We got folk that don't, because they know if you break the law in front of us, we can't just stand back and let you do that. We want a better tomorrow. We want a better community. 13 said earlier, see something, you say something. And that's what's wrong with our community these days, because people don't want to get involved with the courts and the law enforcement. I'm a snitch, I'm a this, I'm a that. If we keep thinking that way, our communities will never get better. they will always be down in the dumps, so to speak. We want a better tomorrow and a better community. And the only way that's going to happen is it takes more than law enforcement to make it happen. It takes concerned citizens, somebody that cares. I'm like 13, you know, and Curtis, those guys been shot, they've been stabbed, and all of this stuff, you know, and we haven't had any incidents like that in our chapter, but the thing is that there's some people out there, they don't want you to make it better. I was just sharing with Lifeguard on a phone call that we've been getting, and the guy would call, and he would say some pretty nasty words, and he would hang up. 3 o'clock in the morning, my phone ringing. This same number, this guy would call, and he would say some nasty things, and he says things like, I want you to get rid of so-and-so in your chapter, or we're going to sue your whole organization. You know, just being real, real nasty about it. So everybody's not going to like you, whether you're part of a law enforcement, guardian angels, or just a person in general. You're going to have some enemies. But tonight, we want to honor Hiker. First of all, I want to honor him with this battalion. And it says hero on here. And I think that's, most people don't want to be called a hero, but I think that is what we can call him on tonight, as he has done great work in bringing missing persons home to their families. Hacker, congratulations. And his certificate says, Fort Pierce Guardian Angels, Certificate of Appreciation for Outstanding Performance of our Missing Persons Unit. Thank you, Hiker. Okay, right now, we're going to give some of you all an opportunity to just share a little bit about what you know about Hiker and how you see him as a person and a guardian angels. If I can say this, and I want to be real tonight and honest, about 10 years ago, this young man came to me and wanted to join the guardian angels. And my second in command and I were standing there. And when he walked up, we looked at each other and kind of cracked a smile. Why? Because he didn't look like he was cut out for this. Just didn't look like it. And we kind of waged, me and the second command kind of waged, he won't last a week. Well, it's been 10 years. I didn't think he would make it. We didn't think he would make it. But it just goes to show you, when your passion is something you love, you're going to do the very best you can at it. And I'm so glad that he stuck it out. You know, we took him down some of the meanest, drug-infested areas in the city of Fort Pierce, and he did not miss a beat. You hear what I say? You know, we trained and we taught him what to say and what to do, because you can't just go out there bullying people. Those people, sometimes they don't care who you are. They'll hurt you. You got to know what to say, when to say it. That's why in this chapter, The only person talks is me. When it comes to a situation in the street, I'm the only person going to talk. And I think that helps the problem that you're dealing with. Because you got to know how to deal with these people out on the street. They're not easy to deal with. So we thank God tonight and thank Michael for sticking it out. He has done a great job. Give him a hand clap of praise. All right, we're going to have 13. You want to share? We're going to have 13. We're going to have the second in command. And anyone else that wants to share, law enforcement, of course, then we're going to have you all share in that order. 13, second in command. Okay. Mark.
What can I say about this guy right here? You know, it's true. When he first joined us, Preacher and I looked at each other and we kind of grinned at each other, and we're like, nah. You know, we'll give anybody a shot, but you know. So we told him, yeah, we'll take you out on patrol and see how you do, and see if there's something you really want to do. And 10 years later, here he is. And I got to say, he has been a valuable asset to the team. And you know, one of those kids that he found, you know, at the time was I have a stepson who lives in Gainesville, but he has a son here, his firstborn. He's 10 years old, and he goes to school in Port St. Lucie. He got in trouble at school one day and decided he was gone. He just walked off the campus, and in the process of walking off campus, he kind of got lost. And there were 100 and something people out there looking for him, including Port St. Lucie PD and our guys and some volunteers as well. And you know, this guy right here, he was right there, right around the corner. And that's when my grandson turned up. He was right there, and my wife, she's very appreciative of that because, you know, unfortunately, we don't get to spend much time with our grandson. We haven't seen him in a long while because, you know, his mom has issues, but that's beside the point. Fact of the matter is, this young man right here is dedicated to what he does. He takes it very seriously, so we take him seriously, and he's been a real value and an asset to the team. And Michael, I thank you very much for sticking it out and being here with us and doing what you do. You know, you deserve the recognition. And right now, I'd like to introduce, he's running for Sheriff of St. Lucie County. This is Deputy Chief Richard Del Toro from Port St. Lucie PD.
Thank you all for having me today. Again, Richard Del Toro, Assistant Chief at the Port St. Lucie Police Department. It's such a privilege to be here to honor Michael. Michael is a dear friend of the Port St. Lucie Police Department and myself. And to my knowledge, I mean, I don't have a code name that I go by that I know of. But if you ask the officers that work for me, they probably have plenty of names that they call me. But no, it's an honor to be here tonight and be with such a great group of people. And just to give people a little bit of context about Port St. Lucie, which is just south of here, it is now the 7th largest city in the state of Florida with a population of 220,000 residents, and still growing. It's going to have a build-out of about 350 to 400,000 people when it's all said and done. And you know, we're very proud of the fact that for the last 12 years, we've been the safest city in the state of Florida with populations over 100,000 residents. And although I'd like to take the credit for all of that, I'm here to tell you we couldn't do it without, one, having very great police officers that work there that are dedicated to serving their community, but number two, having the support and cooperation and assistance of our community. And yeah, it's definitely... You know, all the negative talk around law enforcement the past couple years, we didn't experience that in Port St. Lucie. We received just the opposite, an outpouring of support. I mean, I can't walk into a restaurant without someone buying my lunch or saying thank you for your service. And again, not because of me, but because of the work that's being done out there day in and day out and how we treat people. And, you know, Michael helped us in such a great way, and I want to talk about that in just a second. But, you know, we had a missing girl who last had contact with her friend on the phone as she was walking to school and said she was being followed by somebody. Next thing you know, phone lost contact, and we had a missing person on our hand. And that's the type of call, as a police officer, you never want to get. That's a red alert, basically. And the whole department was basically involved in the investigation, what happened, and you try to use all the technology at your disposal. And although technology is great, it's never a replacement for good old-fashioned police work or investigations. And right away, Michael was out there, and out of all 300 police officers that the Port St. Lucie Police Department has, Michael, guardian angel, hiker, is the one that found her safe and sound and was able to recover her for us, because he gets involved when we need him, and our community just steps up. And Michael, I just can't thank you enough. Michael's what we talked about, what Pastor talked about earlier. He's an encourager. You know, he encourages people all the time. The other day at work, you know, he surprised me and brought me a cake. We got a lot of likes on Facebook together for that. And I'm sitting here, you know, in my position, you know, I'm supposed to be encouraging the next generation, and he's sitting there encouraging me, lifting my spirits. So I appreciate that. And, you know, I'm not afraid to talk about my faith, and I know you're not supposed to mix, you know, government and religion and things like that, but I'm just speaking for myself. You know, I have a big belief in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And in my opinion, if you do any type of research or studying of the Gospels, you know, he was the ultimate servant leader. That's all he did, was serve other people unselfishly. And I believe we're built in his image, and I think that's why it feels so good when we serve other people. And much like Michael did that day, much like we do each and every single day. It's not about what position or what you do in life. It's about what you do in that position or what circumstances you have. And, you know, like Dr. Martin Luther King once said, you know, everyone can be great because everyone can serve. And I believe this community is headed for great things and transformational change because of that. It's going to be because of service to others. And it starts at the top, and that means each and every one of us individually. You know, having a little bit more patience when you see people down. I tell our officers all the time, you know, you're not the only one going through things in life. You know, every single person in this room, I don't care how successful you are, every single person in this room, myself included, has a problem or a burden that they're carrying. Every single person you ever meet the rest of your life needs a kind word or encouragement. So, Michael, thank you. You are a light to this community. We appreciate you and your service. Everywhere I go, every event the Port St. Lucie Police Department has, Michael shows up to support us. And he's always there with a smile. He's always there with just a great energy. And, you know, that's why I wanted to be here tonight. We had a charity golf invitational this morning that we were putting on and running, and it's a long day. But when I heard he was getting this award, I knew how much it would mean to him to be here today. And I wanted to just return the favor and encourage him, because you do that so much for us, man. So we love you. We're proud of you. And thank you all for everything you do. You're great partners to the Port St. Lucie Police Department. We appreciate you. And we welcome your assistance each and every time in Port St. Lucie. I know you might deal with some other things in other places where, you know, you might be looked at, well, we're the police and we're the only ones that can do things. Look, we're people. These are rented titles. I don't care what position you have. And we welcome the assistance, and we're only going to be as good as we can be if we all work together and help people. And we helped a little girl that day get back with her family. Despite the circumstances she might be dealing with, you know, we deal with a lot of habitual runaways sometimes. And sometimes as cops, we get cynical and like, oh, we got to go back out to this house again. But aren't those the kids that need us the most? The ones that are high risk, that can fall into human trafficking and things like that. Isn't that what we swore an oath to protect? And we got to remind ourselves of that. You know, we're here to serve people. That's what we're here to do. And we're just thankful to have your assistance and your support, and we love you and just appreciate you so much. So thank you all for having me tonight. It was an honor to be here. And Michael, congratulations. Well deserved. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, buddy. Proud of you, man. Thanks, brother. We appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Wow. Is there anyone else who want to share a few words about Michael? Come on up. Just come on up. We'll get a little line going here.
Thank you so much. Hello. Good evening tonight. My name is Michael Kane. I know Michael Lincoln for a very long time. I know him since high school when I first met him, and he became my best brother in the whole wide world. I just want to say a few words that when me and Michael were in IRC together, we were in college together. We used to hang out. We used to talk about sports. We used to talk about playing football, and we used to go to the gym a lot, work out, and he's always been my backup. He's always he's been having my back since day one, and I remember that something did happen to him when he got put in a behavior group home, and I want to thank my aunt Anna for helping me, her and my mom for helping him out get out of that behavior group home, and I just want to thank one of my friends and family, help him get his rights back because he did such a good job, and I'm very proud of him, and I give him a reward for that, and I just wanted to say that when I did first met this kid, when he became my first brother, I know him and I used to laugh a lot. Him and I used to joke a lot, and I remember that him and I go out all the time. We go out to see a movie, a funny movie theater like that movie Medea, and I know it sounds funny. I know it sounds a little cute. I do know that him and I we go out to eat all the time. We get some lunch out. We grab a bite to eat. Him and I, Kaylin, probably Vanessa, and all my good friends in the whole wide world are like my family. And I just wanted to say that I want to thank my mother for supporting him as always, as usual, for her and I having his back all the time. And I do remember that when I was walking around Tradition, it was me, my two friends, Vanessa and Kaylin, and I had this one girl who cheated behind my back. That wasn't too good. And I remember that Mike Lincoln showed up, and he probably had he was my backup. And I remember when I got very upset. I remember that he came up and gave me a big hug, and I remember him and Kaylin did such a good job looking out for me, having my back since I had this one girl. Her name was Gabby, and she was a cheater, and she was dating her ex-boyfriend behind my back, and I was PO'd, and I was kind of very upset, but I don't have to worry about it because I'm a strong man. I can take care of myself, right? And I want to thank him for sticking up for me, and I want to thank him and Caitlin for looking out for me, supporting me, and all the things him and Caitlin do. No matter what they do, they will always watch out for me. No matter what God says, no matter what Jesus Christ says, and I just want to say that Michael Lincoln's been doing a lot of good things in his whole entire life. When I first met him since high school, when it was my 11th grade year, and I remember that him and I used to hang out, and he always has my back, and I'm always on his side, and he knows, and I know that we're supposed to have our brothers back because we're like brothers, and we all do all the good things together. Well, God bless, and thank you all, and thanks these officers, and God bless them, and they're my hero, and they're my brothers. They're my brother Michael Lincoln's hero. I want to thank them, to everybody, all right? And here's a melody right now.
Yes. God bless. Hello, good evening. I'm Melody Hearn, and I won't divulge all details, but I'll just say that I was called upon once upon a time to help check into something that didn't seem right. And from that day on, I became mom. Mom. So I get a call all the time, but I take it for an honor to play that role, because more of us need to step up in our communities and be those moms and dads of spiritual and physical stature to be that representative to that person who needs a mom or a dad. And I, with many others in our community, were ones who brought a program to our IRC, our Indian River Community College, for those who needed extra post-secondary help and education. And it was an honor to be able to assist bringing Michael to school every year, or every day, every morning, and didn't count it as trouble, but was able to assist him then to further and take a test to pass and get his state license for security officer. Yes, we did not see that coming, did we? But the Lord is good, and it was through that time that I was able to look back and say it wasn't just for my son or my individual, but it's for all of our individuals in our community here to further their education, to make more of themselves, and to not look at their past as something that's going to keep them there, but that they're going to go further. And Michael, it shows tonight what your passion is of looking out for those, especially those like my son who has special needs. And I appreciate you being there in times when he's needed a big brother to lean on. So I think you can give him a call tonight and see how things are going. But as we honor Michael, I just want to thank you for coming and being a son to me as well. So God bless.
So I wasn't ready. I wasn't planning on necessarily speaking, but felt a little inspired by a number of things. And preacher, that's what I call you? All right. So we actually happened to just somehow cross paths around time. Michael's been very open. Most of you guys, when he's introduced you to me, he's introduced you as his former caseworker. And so with that, I'll take that as somewhat of permission to just kind of elaborate a little bit. You know, when I first met Michael, you know, he definitely was dedicated to wanting to serve, wanting to be in law enforcement. You know, when I first met him, you know, he had plastic handcuffs, gun, sheriff's badge, whole nine. And I knew I was going to be going through some things. You know, he was 16 and a half, I believe, at that time. And let's face it, you know, when it comes down to it, at any time and point in your life, but definitely in that late teen years, ending up in foster care is not easy. And, you know, he was always super motivated, hardworking. You know, he had multiple jobs that he was doing, whether it was, I think you were doing the hot dog costume over there at Fredgie's for a while, stuff like that. Just always very hardworking and dedicated. Had a really big passion for wanting to join the military or law enforcement. And, you know, when you work within the state, when you work in these different fields, you got to fill a lot of rules. One of those rules with especially the young men that I serve is to be, whether that's a father figure, a big brother figure, mentor, whatever. And you're trying to fill a lot of gaps. And, you know, as me and Michael are preparing for him to enter into adulthood, and he's trying to come up with his plans, you know, I had to have a conversation with him at that time that I felt that was important to have. And that conversation had to do with managing expectations a little bit, because, you know, at that time and point, I knew that he had this big heart, but I also knew that there were some challenges that he was facing. And sometimes, you know, the hardest thing to have to do is to talk to somebody and be like, listen, like, I believe in you. I believe that you're capable of doing really great things, but there are going to be some really big challenges and difficulties, and I don't want you to get so invested in one way that you lose sight of other things that you can do. And that happened to be around the same time that he got in touch with you guys. And, after I left my role there and Michael became an adult, Michael stayed in contact with me from time to time, but it was funny because just coincidentally, we'd run into each other at different events. You guys patrolled at one of our baseball games that we have, because every year we do an event there. There was another time where you guys were out at the Super Play for Will's birthday party. Got to run into him there, and we'd always take time to catch up. And just if somebody had told me then what this young man would do, nah, you're outside of your mind, But no, he has found a way to use his servant heart and to serve and to lead others. And I am just so extremely proud of him. He always likes to ask me, "You proud of me?" Yeah, no, definitely proud of you, buddy. But there's a bunch of other things that just kind of touch on here, because when I shared about kind of what I do and working in the government, and stuff like that, it ties a lot to what a couple different people have talked about, and the importance of us as a community and not just relying on institutions, because institutions do their best, but there are limitations that only can be served with the hands and feet of good people doing good work. And Del Toro, he's not wrong. As far as my experience with PSLPD, it's very much, they carry themselves very much in the same fashion that he's presented himself. I go out on a lot of calls with different law enforcement agencies, and I have always been very impressed with your team, and I've shared that with you in the past, just for the way that they interact and they deal with people. The fact that you guys have put something together, to get these kids or get, people out there on the street to try to make the community better. I mean, that's tremendous. And I am familiar with the Guardian Angels even from back in the day, because I heard about that, back in New York and stuff, and dealing with all the gangs and all kinds of stuff that was going on in that time, and just being able to walk the streets and just try to bring some calm and some peace. And it's phenomenal. So hope everybody, decides to continue to do good work, get involved in any way that you can. And Michael, man, you the man. And we're so very proud of you.
Thank you. First of all, thank you so much to the Guardian Angels and Port St. Lucie PD for keeping our cities and our streets safe. I've known Michael for about 10 years. We've worked together, volunteered together, and done many, many projects together. And Michael is always the go-to guy. So we're very, very proud of you. Thank you for the invite tonight, and great job.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble now. Oh, no, I'm in trouble now.
Thank you, preacher.
All right.
That's right. You guys got another couple hours? Right. Because I got some stuff. I've known Michael since he was about yay tall, so I think I got all y'all beat, right? We have logged some hours, and I'm representing myself. My name's Steve Olds. I'm affectionately called his uncle because his real uncle, Joe McCrate, who was in Dallas, Joe and I went to college together. So I knew him before he was him. And I could tell you a lot of stories, and we're not going to do that because I want to maintain a decent relationship with Michael because, he's grown. Who's got the microphone? See, that's a lesson. One of the lessons you got to learn. When somebody else has the mic, you put a sock in it. We've had all kinds of fun through the years, and we'll continue to have a good time. But on a serious note, I have logged a lot of hours with many of you in this room having interesting conversations because many of you have dedicated an extraordinary amount of time out of love in your heart to serve other people, including Michael. Harold, we probably logged a few hours on the phone, haven't we? Yeah, a couple, 10,000, 12,000, something like that. A few. But most importantly, when I think back to the conversation 13 you and I were having, I was younger than Michael when the Guardian Angels first came to be. I lived in D.C., so we weren't all that far from New York, and it was craziness. And I will tell you that the first time Michael brought up the idea of joining the Guardian Angels, I'm like, you must be out of your freaking mind, right? Absolutely. I was with preacher and lifeguard. Yeah, we had this conversation going, this is going to be a problem. This is going to be a problem because Big Mike is not ready for this program. Except that I was wrong, right? But part of it was, it wasn't that we were wrong about being concerned. It was wrong because there was a lot of things we didn't fully understand, about the Guardian Angels and what you all have done. The ability to serve young people who want to serve in ways that aren't, this isn't traditional service. If it was traditional service, there would be 10,000 people here, right? It's a very special group of people who are committed to do work that most people can't even understand. So I thank you for doing that. I thank you for the leadership, and I thank you most importantly for the love that is deep in your heart, because you don't do this without love for your fellow man. God gives us an inspiration to love other people. And you can stand on the faith. You can stand on the rock of Christ and know that without that love, you're not going to get anything done. When you look at that man in the street, preacher, that you're describing, that conversation you have, that's not you having that conversation, is it? It's that love deep in your heart. That love for the other person that doesn't understand the true love that you have for him, even when they're about to make a decision that could destroy somebody else's life and their own. You're coming to them from a place of love, and that's where Michael comes from. That's why he has an infectious personality. That's why he's been able to do the things that he has. But most importantly, he's been able to listen to other people, many of you in this room, who've loved on Michael, even, dare I say, when he wasn't lovable, right? I'm just saying, Uncle Joe, we're just going to leave that all alone. So I just want to thank all of you. I want to thank you, Michael, because you inspire us. And don't let that go to your head, because I will knock it out of your head the first minute you do. But it's important that you understand, Remember, I got the mic, bro, all right? And Nancy and Sarah and Savannah and DC and little David and the rest of Geneva and Ellie and Suzanne and the rest of the family and your dad, Chris, love you very much. And now, you've been recognized here tonight in an amazing way. But now you're going to take your game to another level, right? Because you're stepping into another place that requires the same level of work and study and care that you've not experienced yet. You've been through level 1. You're about ready to step into another level. And it's not easy to do. As a matter of fact, it gets harder to do. And 13 might be able to share a lesson or two about that. It gets tougher as you get older. But now when you look around this room, there are people that you can call on because you have a relationship with them. But as you take it to another level, so will we. So thank you, my brother. I love you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Come on.
Hi. Thank you for you guys' help and our community. Michael, thank you for saving that boy and that little girl. That means a lot of people and you guys' community. Michael's a big help to a lot of, for me in my heart, saying it's okay for Michael. You are the big brother to me, and how much you're forgiving and for loving and for caring for a lot of loving in other communities out there. And for your guardian angels, you are a blessing for all of us. And Michael, you are just the best community. And you are like my big brother to me and for all of us. And you are just a big out of there. And that little boy needs a family and that little girl's mom and dad. And that means a lot to Michael. Thank you, Michael, for all your blessings. Love you, brother.
Thank you, Kaylin.
No, don't worry. I'm not going to toast you. Roast you. My name is Harold Turk, and I was appointed Michael's guardian ad litem when he went into foster care, and I think he was 17 at the time. And I've been with him since through many, many phases. It's a very amazing story. You could write a book. He was in a lot of tough situations from different foster homes, and he had an amazing ability, to survive and to thrive. And he always had this unusual desire to serve. He volunteered for I don't know any organization he didn't volunteer for or that he wanted to volunteer for. And I've been with him since then, through when he aged out and afterwards when he was in another such a bad situation. And I'm really proud of how well he's done. And, he's an amazing young man. And I think of him as you have a son, but sometimes they're a pain in the asses, excuse the expression. You know what I mean? But overall, and he's a very, very decent human being, very caring. Michael, we're all very, very proud of you. He always asks, are you proud of me? And we always say, well, yes, we are. You've done things that none of us thought you could achieve. But we realize how, like Steve said, we were wrong sometimes. And you did it right. So we wish you continued success. Thank you.
We're going to have, thank you so much, everybody who spoke on Michael's behalf. We're going to have 13, our director from New York City, to come, and he's going to close us out. But the final words will be from my second in command, lifeguard. He wants to give thanks to the church for allowing us to be here on tonight.
Thank you. Well, Michael, we're all here to celebrate you tonight because it's not about the challenges. It's not about falling down. That's sort of required. Everyone falls down in life. It's a part of life. It's how you get up. It's your consistency. I mean, I didn't know 3/4 of the things that were said about you until today. I knew about you from what preacher told me, from what lifeguard told me. And on the plane, I'm figuring, well, what am I going to say? And I have sort of boilerplates because I do this around the world. But you, my friend, you break that mold. I'm proud of you. The organization is proud of you. I can speak on behalf of Curtis Lewa, and I can safely say that Curtis is extremely proud of you and this chapter, because there's no such thing as just one person. You have God-given abilities, but the Guardian Angels is the vehicle for you to step up and use those abilities to the max. If it were just one person, we can only do but so much. You know, every human being needs recognition. We have to. We thrive on it, whether you say so or not. All those people on TV, well, I'm not really a hero, but they're on TV saying they're not a hero. Okay, they're a hero. You are a hero in your own rights. And the Guardian Angels were built exactly for this. Everyone can step up and be counted. Everyone gets the pat on the back. What we do might seem easy for outsiders, but people with the red berets and we know differently. It's tough. Sometimes you want to hang up the red beret. You know, sometimes you don't want to go on patrol. But it's that stick-to-itiveness. It's that feeling that comes from deep inside that you can't buy, you can't borrow. It's there. It was there when you were born, and it shows now. You're part of something that's greater than yourself. You're using your God-given abilities to help others. There is no greater calling. There is none. Perhaps if you weren't a guardian angel, you wouldn't be getting the accolades you are now. But because you are, this is a plateau. This is a platform from which you build on and you exceed to greater heights. And that's for all of us. When I speak of the guardian angels or when I'm walking down the street and people stop me, oh, you guys are great, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's fine. That's sort of to be expected. However, the organization does more for its members than any other organization I've ever been with, because we make you feel like you want to feel. We give you that 15 minutes of fame because you deserve it. When I lay my head down at night, I don't think of all the tough times I've had. And believe me, in 43 and a half years, been a lot of tough times. I think that I've created something that has helped others to help others. I sleep well. I sleep very well. And it's not up to Curtis Sliwa. It's not up to myself. A general without an army is a general in its own rights, maybe, but doesn't add up to a hill of beans. It's you, each and every one of you. And I continuously say that anywhere in the world that I am addressing guardian angels or police officers or the citizenry. This animal that is crime and belligerence has multiple plateaus, and it cannot be attacked with just one sect of society. It can't be just the military, just the police. It's us and we, not I and me. Michael, you're in those ranks, brother. You show everyone what us and we are about, even though they're your talents. You share them proudly. I've seen you on TV. Okay, I've seen you in news articles, and it's great. But don't break your arm patting yourself on the back. This is still a team effort. And everyone here, with a red beret or not, has a moral and ethical obligation, not just to themselves, but to their community. This place should be packed with 10,000 people, but it's not. Nor probably will it be in the future. But we know, we that are here, who take pride in Michael, who understand that it is us and we, and not I and me, are here, and we're going to do the heavy lifting. We, as guardian angels, promise to be there when you need us. Period. Michael, I honor you. I'm prouder than you now than I was 2 hours ago, I'll tell you that much. You've overcome a lot, but you have a lot more. A longer way to go, as we all do. There is no final destination to peace and harmony and community safety. It's a journey. And in that journey, it's all or none. And it is a war. And if I didn't state this before, I have buried guardian angels who've been killed in the line of duty. And of all my duties, that was the absolute worst. Telling parents, I'm sorry your son died. He was a hero. It just happened to be men. They didn't hear the hero part. They just heard the dead part. And it breaks my heart to even think about it. But again, this is what we signed up for, isn't it? No one twisted any arms. Actually, you guys never even saw me before today. But I got your back. That you can count on. And Michael, I know you have ours. And man, I think the best thing I can say to you is A, keep up the good work, and B, we love you. Thank you.
All right, all right. Before we conclude, I just want to reach out and say thank you to Pastor Jimmy Lloyd, Pastor Mark Aycock, Pastor Rocky Whiteside, and Pastor Chantel Gondinez. These are some wonderful people who appreciate what the Guardian Angels do. And when I asked if we could have this ceremony here, I was told, sure, no problem, whatever you need to do. So thank you, Fairlawn Church leadership, for allowing us to use the sanctuary tonight. And thank you, all of you, for coming tonight to help us celebrate and honor Michael. Y'all have a blessed evening. And if we happen to do this again, we'll let you know.